Hey, what's going on, guys? The HGUC Nightingale is finally here, and I'm pretty excited. Look at how gigantic this box is. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So obviously, guys, with this massive box art, it's going to be kind of hard to get it all on screen for you, but you got the Nightingale looking very cool, super shiny there in this space fight scene with the Hainu over there, which is just about to come out as a real grade kit, so looking forward to that. I'm assuming this illustration, although it's kind of blurry there on the side, is based off of the design of the real grade. But what I also find interesting over there, aside from the Alpha Zero up in the background, you have the very cool Psycho Doga cutting a Jagan in half. Now, I'm not one that believes that, oh, if you see it in the background of the box art, that means that Bandai is going to be coming out with the kit in the near future. That has happened in the past, but there's no guarantee of that. That said, I do really hope that Bandai will come out with a Psycho Doga kit. I would assume it would probably be also HGUC, but if they revived the RE100 line and actually came out with the RE100 of that, I think it would be a really nice fit for that line. Could also be a variant of the Master Grade. I think that's less likely, but I'm definitely crossing my fingers for a Psycho Doga kit. That would be so cool. But alright, going on to the side of the box, this is 240 in the HGUC line in this big, massive, heavy box. Ugh. On the side of the box, we got some more details here about that. There you can see what it looks like all built up, front and back, all the fuel tanks, everything, the head opening gimmick for the cockpit there. The binders actually fold back, something that the RE100 version of this kit could not do. Then over here you got some action posing with that. Another thing that the RE100 couldn't do is basically a brick. You really can't do much of anything with that. So it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to with this kit, being able to actually pose it and do stuff with it. This one also has these sub-arms, which the RE100 kit did not have, the sub-arms underneath the front skirt there. So lots of improvements that I can find with this kit already over the RE100 kit. And if we look on the other side, there's a look at what it comes with. So you got the BMAX, 4 beam sabers, 2 long, 2 short. You got all your funnels there, of course, the mega beam rifle, or large mega beam rifle, I should say, and the shield. And then down here, just some detail images of that. All of that detail does look very nice. You got some information there about the Nightingale in Japanese and in English, and a very cool illustration over here. So inside the box, we got a ton of stuff, and obviously these parts are very large, and I will just say, as we're kind of digging through here for the manual, people have noted that this kit costs almost as much as the RE100 version, which obviously is in a different scale, going to be much larger. But if you take a look at the box size is actually pretty similar between the two of them, and just the amount of plastic is actually very similar. Where the RE100 kit is much larger, this one just has a lot more parts. So while that price difference at first may seem a bit shocking, but it's pretty easy to understand if you actually look at what's in the box. Here on the manual, it's looking very cool. You got a nice big reference image there. You got some standard information on the side for an HGUC manual. On the back side, you got some nice reference images there. Once again, just talking about the gimmicks, the weapons, the details, all that. The color guide down here at the bottom. Opening this up to the center pages, we got a bunch more information there about the Nightingale, so lots of good information there if you want to read up about that, or you could just read the wiki page. Over here on the other side, more about that, and then some other kits in the line, HG kits from Char's Counterattack there. Going back up to the front page here, we've got our parts list, and the rest of the manual is basically just all the construction, though it is a pretty substantial manual. We've got up to 23 pages by the time you get to the end, and it looks like to put this up on action base, you're going to need 2 arms of an action base to hold this up. That's not very surprising, but that's a little bit inconvenient. Anyway, it just shows you how to do that, and then how to work the kind of leg that it has out the back, the third leg, to hold up the back skirt and all that good stuff explained there at the end of the manual. But let's go ahead and get right into the runners. And checking out the stickers here, we've got some foil stickers for a couple little camera lenses, it looks like, a couple little black bits, a couple little yellow bits, nothing too substantial, and then some marking decals here. We got the Neo Xeon logos, the kind of Char's music note logo there that goes on the front skirt, some red striping bits which I believe just go around on the fuel tanks. We got SB1 here for our long type beam saber effect parts there in clear yellow. And runners A1 and A2 are joined together here. You got the beam axe effect part over there in clear yellow, some white parts, red parts, and black parts. Runner B, like with a lot of these runners, is going to have some pretty massive parts on there for the shield, leg parts, front skirt parts. You got the big dong part over here. Runner C, some more red parts there for the legs. Runner D on this weirdly warped runner is just our big massive part there for the back skirt. Runner E is some more big red pieces of armor. Runner F is some more clear yellow beam effect parts. We got 2 of these. This is actually from the HGUC Shinanju originally, so beam axe effect parts and beam saber effect parts from the Shinanju. And the last of our red armor pieces here on the G runner. Obviously we've got 2 of these. Got the big piece for the binder and smaller pieces there, including your pieces here for the funnels. Then with runner H, we're getting into our kind of like frame parts with this. You can see there's a lot of nice detail there. This is all in a dark kind of metallic-y gunmetal kind of color. Looks nice. That's going to continue on for the next few runners here. Here's runner I with some hand parts, weapons parts. And here's why this dark metallic gunmetal color is so nice to use on kits like this, especially because the way that it catches light works really nicely, that you don't even have to like panel line the kit, that you get these like really dark recesses and these really bright raised areas, so it kind of creates the effect as if it was like already painted and like detailed without it actually being even painted at all. Up next then we've got runner J1 with some binder parts and all that, thruster bells, and we got runner J2 for another set of those. And some more joint and mechanical bits here on the K runner. We've got 2 of this K runner. Then runner L1 is all of that orangish yellow color for inside the thruster bells and stuff is inside the back skirt. Then we've got runner L2, which is going to be a copy of this half the runner there. And finally runner M1 and M2 is the parts for our fuel tanks, and then also for like the elbow joints, knee joints, and shoulder joints. I think they're meant to have this kind of like cloth looking covering over them. Interestingly, this is in a light gray, not white at all. These parts I expected, it should be in light gray, but I expected the fuel tanks to be in white, so interesting that they're not, but that should look pretty cool. So there we have it, guys. Pretty big box, and it's packed with a lot of big parts. It should make for a very cool kit. Let's go ahead and get it all built up. Alright guys, so here it is all put together, and this is definitely a massive kit, but that's not going to be a surprise to anyone. We all knew it was going to be a massive big kit, and it's very cool. I do have to say I'm already a lot more impressed with this one than I was with the RE100 at this point. The RE100 is impressive because it's big, and that's kind of about it, but this one, I can already tell there's going to be a lot more that you can do with this, which is going to make this kit just a lot more fun, I'm sure. And not only that, I think it's just better looking in terms of its proportions and details and everything. So between the two, I think at this point I can kind of already call it that the HGUC just kind of kills the RE100 kit. You guys can judge for yourselves as we get into this. You might prefer, really prefer that larger size of the RE100. It certainly is very impressive on its own. But I think this one is going to be a kit that even people who are not super maybe necessarily into the Nightingale are going to be pretty tempted to want to pick up for your own collection to have up on your shelf. But let's go ahead and check it out. And so if we're going to be talking about them, we might as well take a look at the two of them together. So here it is next to its big bro, the RE100 kit. Last time you guys saw this, I was eating crab out of it. Go back and watch that video if you guys have never seen that. That was a really fun video that we did here a couple years ago. But it's all clean and put back together now, and you guys can see between the two there's some definite design differences, just proportionally, like the front skirt's a little bit kind of longer, pointier on that guy. The shoulder armor also is kind of more pointy on the HG compared between the two of them. And there's definitely some proportion differences and things like that. Personally, I'm preferring the HG, but that's just personal preference between the two. As far as like the amount of detail on them, they're kind of pretty equally matched, but in terms of the articulation, it's definitely going to the HG, as you guys will see once we get into that next. That just has a lot more articulation in that, and also it's a lot more stable with this one just because of its size and because of the way the RE100 line is based mostly off of like the same polycap runner throughout the builds. Most of the RE kits are fine. This one definitely suffers from just a lot of loose joints and things. So while I do think the RE is still incredibly impressive just for its sheer size, the HG is just going to be the one that I'm going to have to recommend you guys to check out if you're in the market for a Nightingale kit. Now let's quickly just talk about the stickers. I did put the marking stickers on here. Those look pretty nice. You do have a couple more that you have left over that you can use if you want. You also have like the red stripes that go around on the fuel tanks here on the back. You can wrap those around. And then as far as like the foil stickers, got these little black ones that just fill in that black inside this white piece here on the vent. You got one for the mono eye, which we'll see when we take a closer look up at the head here in a little bit. Around here on the back, that up inside the center of this thruster bell there, that would be yellow or red, I don't remember, but it's covered up by a little black sticker, so you have that completely black. Otherwise there'd be a little bit of color showing right in the center of that. And then only this lower part is yellow plastic. The upper part up kind of around the inside of there is a couple of yellow stickers just to make that yellow go all the way around the thruster bell up inside there. And the last sticker would be for this little camera here on the front of the beam rifle. And why don't we just go ahead and take a look at this while we got it here. So the main handle doesn't move, but the bipod does move. Now on the RE100 kit, you could extend it down like that, but you couldn't actually extend them out. On this one, you can actually extend these out. And I do find that they are kind of loose. These do keep popping off on me when I'm extending them out, but You can extend out the bipod there fully like that, which again is better than what the RE100 kit could do. And overall, it's a really nice design. You don't really have a seam line as they made a molded panel line going around the edge of that, so that just eliminates the seam for you, so you don't need to worry about seam line removal on that. That's very nice. Might as well knock out the rest of the accessories here while we're on the topic. So here is the shield, got the big sticker on there, some nice color separation here for the vents. On the back side, you got the little missiles down there. Again, some nice color separation with this piece here, which is what feeds to the front there for that. The connection piece will allow you to connect the shield either onto the side of the arm or the back of the arm, so you have a nice option there for that, and this will fit onto either the left or the right arm, doesn't matter. Then we've got the beam axe, which also is very nice. And you do have some options for this. So here is the dedicated beam effect part that was new for this kit. So that fits in there like that, which is pretty nice, but you do have some options that are from the HG Shinanju. So there you go. I do like the look of that. It is pretty cool, except that it does have this little kind of lip down here at the bottom where it's meant to fit, like the Shinanju's beam axe has this little kind of extra little detail here at the end that doesn't match in quite with this. Not really that noticeable, so it's kind of fine. And the manual says to not use the longer ones, but you totally can if you want to. You could have it like half and half, or use both of them like that, but if you want a longer one, you're kind of just meant to use this one. But you can use this one if you want. You could even take the beam saber effect part from the Shinanju and stick it into here like that. It's kind of loose, it doesn't fit in there quite right, and as you can see, mine were a little bit bent so they don't line up, so it looks a little bit weird. So you could bend those to be the correct shape, and I think it's kind of cool. Maybe just stick to this one as that's what's recommended. Now for our beam sabers, we've got 4, but there's 2 different types. We've got 2 here like this, where the handles are made to fit with the Shinanju's beam saber effect parts, and we got 2 with the longer, just standard 1/100 scale beam saber effect parts. Now, I don't really like that they're different. I wish that these were uniform, the same shape. 2 different sizes is cool, but I just wish that these were matching, so if they would have made some new effect parts to match the Shinanju's ones would have been nice, because those are a bit nicer looking rather than just kind of your standard boring ones. And finally, for our hand options on the kit right now, as you can see, I got the closed fists. Those are very nice. For the right side, we also have the option of a holding hand or a trigger finger hand for the rifle. And for the left side, we've got holding hand and a open hand, which is basically like a rifle support hand. Now, as for the articulation, this kit is very big and cumbersome, so you'll have to forgive me. I'll do my best to get through this. The head is on a really interesting mechanism that will allow the head to actually move up a little bit like that, and obviously all the way down like that. You can press it all the way down, or you can turn it off to the side, something like that. I think it kind of just looks best, and it's just kind of standard position there like that, maybe turned a little bit, but you can also turn the mono eye. It's going to be kind of hard to see, but there is that little foil sticker up in there for that. This part of the head you can lift up and move that back, so that is actually connected. So you're not actually taking the piece off, but you're just kind of moving it back on that mechanism there, which is very cool. And you can turn the mono eye off to one side, close that head back down, and then there you go. Now it's looking off to the side there like that. Now if we go a little bit down here for its mega cannon here in the chest, this opens up, which again on the R100 kit it does not do that, so that's cool. That opens up there like that and looks like a little kind of mouth or something, but there's the mega cannon up inside of there. These shoulder armor pieces do move up and down here as well, like that. The shoulder joint for the arm swings back and forth. You've got some rotation here at the elbow joint, so you can bend the elbow at a pretty nice double joint there, which is going to give you more than 90 degrees. Pretty good range of motion there for that, so you can have that bent kind of in any which way you want. And the wrist is just there on a ball joint anyway. Here in the midsection we do have some rotation. That's going to be it. Obviously not going to really have like a stomach ab crunch or anything, but just some pretty tight rotation there at the midsection. Then if we go back to the binders, they have some movement in these as well. You can kind of fold these down and around to be able to put the binders back like that, to be able to move the binders back like so, which is pretty nice. I think that's something that's actually like from like in like official artwork or whatever. It's like actually supposed to be able to do that, so something again that the R100 couldn't do. And then at like the highest upward extension of these, you can see they can come up pretty high and actually hold a position. So they're heavy of course, but that feels pretty solid. Like that's not gonna eventually be like weighed down. If you played with this a lot, yeah, it definitely feels like a joint that over time is going to be looser and probably will start to sink down from gravity, but if you're just not playing around with it too much, it should hold that pose pretty easily. These fuel tanks here on the back are all just connected via ball joints, which is kind of annoying because you constantly when you're moving the kit around you have to kind of adjust them back to their position, but compared with the RE100 kit, they're just like set in there like an angled position, and you can't change the angle of them, which is fine, but it does make them more prone to breaking, as I actually broke one of the connector pegs for my RE100 kit. So while it does make them slightly more of a chore to pose, it definitely helps to not break anything, which is nice. The back skirt here is just fixed in its position, but our extra like third leg stand here at the back, you have a little bit of movement up and down there for that, and you can change the position of this to be stored up inside of there. The side skirts are probably the weakest point of the kit, as these do tend to pop off kind of easily. But those are just there on there like that. They're on a ball joint and just kind of moving stuff around. Those have been popping off on me. Front skirts you can bring up to about there, which is going to be about the extent of that, but most notably on these they actually have working sub arms on the underneath, which of course the RE100 kit did not have. That was probably one of the most disappointing things for me, is that it didn't have any working sub arms. So you got this track to slide that up and down, you slide this down, and then pop this around. Now the little claw on the end doesn't actually move, it just holds the beam saber in there. So you just stick that in there like so, and it holds that up just fine. So you can have this for your sub arms holding out your beam saber. So that's really cool. For the hips is going to be kind of hard to see, and they're not really going to be all that functional, because basically this thing just needs to like squat, stand, and that's about it. But you can move them around forward and back. You can bring it all the way forward up to about there-ish, but it just kind of looks like just a mess of parts at this point. You can bring that back. You can bring it out to the side to about there. It's going to be about the extent of that, it seems like. And then we got a double joint here in the knee, but it's like the top joint of the double joint barely moves at all. It's mostly in the lower joint, so you are going to get a pretty nice bend of that. It's more than 90 degrees, which is not bad. You have this part here, which moves separately on the front. Again, the RE100 kit did not have that. This was a fixed piece. Also, the RE100 kit could not bend the front toe, only the side toes. This one you can bend the side toes and the front toe, albeit not that much, just a little bit. The back toe here is just kind of all fixed with the foot, but you do have full detail in a separate colored piece up underneath there, so that all looks very nice. Ankles will move side to side and forward and back, so some nice movement for that. So getting this up in aerial poses, something that the RE100 kit is basically just not able to do, just because of its size and weight. You just can't really get that up in the air. This one you can with the use of 2 action bases, but you can actually get it up on action base in an aerial pose, and with the articulation of it actually make it look kind of cool. But even though you are able to get it up in the air and do some cool aerial poses, it does still feel pretty unstable. It's still a pretty big kit to have up in the air, even supported by 2 action bases. I don't think it's something that I'm going to want to do with mine. It is a pretty cool way to display it, and I think it would probably be better if they made like some sort of dedicated stand for this that was just a little bit more solid, because even up on 2 action base arms, it's still gonna be just a lot of weight, and it's a very like spread out weight. It's got the big massive binders, and it's got a lot of forward and back weight as well. So you can have it up on a base, and it does look really cool on a base, but I think I'm probably gonna just keep mine stood on the ground. And there's a lot of really cool posing options and stuff that you can do with it just on the ground anyway. It does still look really cool, being a Nightingale that actually has the articulation and nice proportions to be able to pull off cool poses and look very nice, being able to utilize the 4 beam saber effects, being able to actually hold the rifle in a nice way to actually look like it's actually using the rifle. The shield as well. Obviously the shield is going to be a little bit difficult because it's so big and massive. It's going to be like bumping into the shoulder armor and the binders and everything, so you're going to have to position that kind of carefully. But overall, the kit is fantastic. Definitely, I think overall, pound for pound, it's a much better option than the RE100 kit. I don't think that the RE100 kit is completely useless. Like I said before, I think if you are a fan of the just much larger size of that, there is definitely still, you know, some worth in the RE100 kit. But between the two, this is definitely the one that I would recommend for you guys to check out. And like I said earlier, even if you're not that big of a fan of the Nightingale design in general, I would definitely recommend, you know, considering this. If you come across it for a decent price and you know you're looking for something bigger and just different to build, this is definitely something that will be a lot of fun. I think you'll really enjoy putting this one together, even if you're not that big a fan of the design in general. But let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think about the kit? Is it one that you're planning on picking up? Do you already have it pre-ordered, or you might already have the kit already? If you do, what are your thoughts on it? Let me know down in the comment section below. Or, you know, if you just really aren't interested, you let me know that as well. As always, guys, big thank you to USA Gundam Store for making the review possible. Check out this kit and everything else there at USA Gundam Store. The link and the coupon code for you guys to use is down there in the video description below. So thank you so much for your support there, and thank you so much for your support here on the channel, liking the video, commenting, subscribing. That's all greatly appreciated. And until next time, guys, hope you're all having a great day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.